Oh my God. You ain't ready, man. Can you smell what the Rhett is cooking? Can you smell what the Rhett is cooking? It's the Pritty left goddamn hook. We back. Oh my God. And that music is because it's a whole movie. It's a goddamn zoovie. I had to hit you in your goddamn liver with that wrestling style walkout intro shit, fool. And I'm wearing my pink today. It's all love. As you know, this is Valentine's Day, actually. This is the Valentine's Day edition. But I'm going to tell you something crazy. We're going to call this the Ike and Tina Valentine's Day. You feel what I'm saying? Yes. You might say, Rhett, why? Because there have been people that have been very disrespectful recently in the fight business. Very disrespectful. But you know what they say, right? Hate is the new goddamn love. Ain't it? I knew you would agree. I knew you would agree. Because it is. And the disrespect has been so crazy in MMA, in boxing, that we got to talk about it. And it's only appropriate that we do it on goddamn Valentine's Day. That shit ain't funny. But I'm going to tell you what is. Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya. Yo, my man. All right, we're going to break this all the way down to the white meats. I like you, Israel. I rock with you. Shout out to New Zealand. Shout out to Auckland. Shout out to Nigeria. This man's from every goddamn where. I think he used to live in China as well. But Israel, there's some things about America you got to understand when you come over here and start fighting over here. Can I get an amen? I'm just keeping it a stack with you. Israel Adesanya came to Houston's Toyota Center, you know, where the Houston Rockets play, you know, where John Wall doesn't play ball. You know what I'm talking about. And he had some choice words in defense of the comedian, the former host of Fear Factor, and obviously over the last decades or so, the color commentator of UFC broadcasts. That man's name is Joe Rogan. He hosts a podcast, which is probably the biggest podcast now in the world, called The Joe Rogan Experience on Spotify. First and foremost, let me put a disclaimer out there. I used to work for the UFC for many years. I've seen Joe Rogan up close and personal many times. Joe Rogan has given me props for being a great back-of-house manager, as well as he's read my things on UFC.com when I used to be a journalist at UFC.com. Matter of fact, that was a funny thing for him. Matter of fact, he used to give me respect for the things that I write. So I want to say all that to say, I'm not here to bash Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, we cool. I seen you around. I know how you move. I never seen you talking crazy around me. But you've been talking crazy for years on the goddamn Joe Rogan Experience. Now, Joe Rogan was outed by some random, social media editor that compiled all the times that he said the N-word throughout his career as a podcaster. And it wasn't a good look. At all. But what he did do was apologize. Now, the apology wasn't really felt by many people because, unfortunately for Joe Rogan, the word is triggered. Unfortunately for Joe Rogan, there's an extreme history with this word, and although it's been used as a colloquialism in rap music and in commercial rap culture, notice I didn't say hip-hop culture because they are two distinct things. In commercial rap culture and the commercial rap product, the N-word has been used profusely, and now many people have taken the word as their own. KRS said in a song, now you got even white kids calling themselves nigga and all. Listen, the word is outside. It's outside. It's been outside. It's probably going to stay outside. But Joe Rogan used it profusely. And Israel Adesanya was asked at a press conference how he felt about Joe Rogan's usage of the word. And this is what Israel had to say. Let me pull it up. Because when I tell you what Israel had to say, we're going to, number one, check his identity in relation to being from New Zealand and not America. And number two, we got to break this down. Because Israel, you played yourself, dog. And it's a scary moment now for you, baby. This is Israel Adesanya at the press conference for UFC 271. I'm black. I can take this one. Again, a reporter asked the question about how Israel felt about Joe Rogan's usage of the word and the controversy that ensued. Here's what he said again. I'm black. I can take this one. Look, there's a lot of cunts in this game. I'm telling you he's from New Zealand, so these words are kind of weird for us, but this is what he said. There's a lot of cunts in this game. There's a lot of snakes in this game. I've been in this fight game since 2008, and Joe Rogan is one of the nicest, coolest, humble motherfuckers I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Understand that. Now, he was very adamant about this. He's very adamant about this. But then he went a little further. Fuck the noise, man. You know what they're trying to do. You can't control them, man. And he's got the biggest platform in the world right now. Talking about Joe Rogan. So that's my nigga, Joe Rogan. Fuck the noise. Keep doing you, Joe. Have some mushrooms. Keep doing you. Israel, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? So now here we go. Look, at first I was going to be nice. I was going to ease my way into this. But now we're going to keep it 100% OG level status. Because number one, I'm older than you, my dude. Number two, I've been around the UFC longer than you, my dude. I just ain't fight. Number three, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yo, this is one of those ask a black person moments, even for a black person. You understand what I'm saying, Israel? Like, you came to America from Auckland, New Zealand. Now, you're Nigerian by birth. You traveled around the world. You were a kickboxer first. Now you're a mixed martial artist. You got belt. You're doing your damn thing. We not mad at you. You over here whooping ass. Your fight against Anderson Silva was poetically beautiful in the martial arts sense. Pause. And you done beat up Robert Whittaker for the second time last weekend. But here's the problem, Israel. You didn't talk to the home team. You came over to America. I don't know if you're insulated by your homies from New Zealand. I don't know if you're insulated by the UFC brass. But you might not have kicked it with the black people. You know, when you come to Vegas to train at the UFC Performance Institute, you might want to go over to MLK Avenue. All right? Mike Tyson got a barbershop over there in the hood. Okay, North Las Vegas. All right. When you was in Houston, did you go to 5th Ward? Okay, did you go to any ward? Shit, you could have pulled up on Paul Wall. He would have put you on game. He don't even fuck with the bullshit. All right? And he's sitting sideways all day selling grills all out this bitch. But Israel Adesanya, you defended Joe Rogan, and you said it in a way that made Joe Rogan a part of the black experience, and he's not, Israel. But then I had to remember, neither is Israel. Let me break this down. Israel first said, I'm black. I can take this one. Look, let me keep it a stack with the whole world right now, okay? Everybody, number one, there's some differentiation within the black community. We all say black as a catchword. It's not a catchword. Our experiences are different. We're not monolithic. God damn. And this is the first time we done heard out of an Auckland, New Zealand black guy how he feels about people using the N-word in America. Did we know how y'all felt? Absolutely not. Did we think about how y'all felt? Absolutely goddamn not. Because it's irrelevant to us, bro. You from New Zealand. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Australia and New Zealand set up as like a prison colony for people from Britain back in the day? You're in a whole prison barge island in the fucking South Pacific, my G. You might as well be in Tonga. You understand what I'm saying? We're not thinking about your fucking opinion. Just kick a nigga's ass, right? I said the word for you, Israel. But here's the thing. Yes, you're black. But let me tell you, Israel Adesanya, in America, these words were created to dehumanize. These words were created to set a certain tone based on certain racial stereotypes, i.e. tropes, like the Sambo, like a bunch of other caricature images, to mystify black folks into being these otherworldly, nefarious creatures. In essence, either we're slow, we have extreme idiocy. We're not on the same level as our white counterparts in America, is what the word was intended to do. And through the struggle and through perseverance and the indomitable will to win. God damn it, that man said indomitable. Woohoo! That was Ric Flair energy right there with that word. We stayed in the game. We took the word and we turned the word into a term of endearment. Now, don't get me twisted. Every black person feels low-key greasy when they say the N-word. Straight up. I'm not going to lie to you. It's even we all feel it because we know it's greasy. But we took it because we had to shape-shift the narrative. So now the word has become part of our lexicon because it allows us to change a word used to hurt us into something that unites us on some level. I'm not saying it's the ultimate unifier because it's clearly the ultimate divider. However, we needed to take lemons and make some goddamn lemonade. And then we mixed it with some goddamn sweet tea and turned it into a fucking Arnold Palmer. You understand what I'm saying, Israel? That's America right there. It's a melting pot. It's a hodgepodge. It's a goddamn gumbo of bullshit. But we goddamn figured out how to make it our own. Because you gotta live every day, Israel. And when you wake up black in America, you know that there's a strike against you. So goddamn it, we're gonna take all the darts and we're going to turn them back at those that are our enemies. You feel me? So that's what that's about, Israel. So ask a black person first before you start saying shit. So yes, you are black, but you know you can't take this one, Israel, because you ain't from America. Now, Israel says there's a lot of cunts in this game. Now, I've been to the UK many times, and you know, their slang is kind of similar from Europe to even Australia, New Zealand. So when he says cunts, he's talking about assholes. Like we would say, there's a lot of assholes in the game. He says cunts. It's just for us, that word is horrible. There's a lot of snakes in the game, so he clarifies even more. Snakes. Now, we know what that means. That's bad luck. He's been in the fight game since 2008, and Joe Rogan is one of the nicest, coolest, humble motherfuckers he's had the pleasure of working with. Understand that. And I agree, bro. I used to work around Joe Rogan a lot. I used to be there for him for weigh-ins. When he would host the weigh-ins, he would do the fights. You know what I'm saying? I've seen son in different countries I've been to. The Duke is cool. He's a cool dude. I'm not mad at him. But what we do know is that a lot of times people take liberties that they shouldn't, or they reveal through these podcast mechanisms the way they speak to their friends. And there's one thing to talk about something in private, and there's another when you have the biggest platform on Spotify. You're making the most money as a podcaster. You have to have some level of chill. Some level of chill when you're doing this, right? So, because of that level of chill that you need, Joe Rogan was wrong in being so liberal in his usage. Now, I get it. When you say the N-word, it totally neuters the impact that you're trying to, give the world when you're speaking. But unfortunately for white people, you need to neuter your goddamn usage of the word. You have to nullify it by saying the N-word or whatever you want to say, or just take that shit out of your fucking vocabulary and stop thinking about it, right? Because it's harmful. And because there's too much history wrapped up in this when other races use the shit. Then you're going to say, Rhett, people have given a cultural pass to like non-quote-unquote black people, like let's say a Fat Joe or Big Pun or other Latino folks or whatever, you know what I'm saying, Cardi B, whatever. But understand something. There's a difference between being black and being street. And street is a culture. And in poverty is a culture. And people that come from poverty use a similar language. So, hip-hop and or rap culture has allowed people from within the culture who might not be from the community, so to speak, in terms of blackness, but they're from the culture of impoverished, where that word is utilized a little more liberally because everybody feels like they're a nigga, in essence. Yes, passes have been given. Cultural passes have been given. Multiple times. Again, you never heard Mac Miller use it. Eminem knows not to use it, although he did say black bitches, but we checked him on that. But Joe Rogan for damn sure can't use it. Now, there is a collective experience felt by black people in America. So if you say my nigga, that means like you understand the shit I go through, understand the shit you go through. So God damn it, you are mine because we both get looked at this way and we took it and turned it around and now we're excellent. That's what the shit's about. I know there's mad explanations behind this for why it's being used. So like to the point of the ancestors and others don't even use it or whatever. But if it slips, it's because of a likened experience that we're relating to each other on that probably has everything to do with the struggle. One thing I'm going to say about Israel Adesanya, to not tear this man 100% apart, is when the protest movement happened because of George Floyd, he actually led a protest in New Zealand. And why is that significant? Because I don't know about racial and police brutality in Auckland, New Zealand. But if there is none, he made sure to be on the front lines in his country. Now, mind you, this is during a time when other mixed martial artists in America said nothing I didn't hear Daniel Cormier saying nothing about George Floyd's passing. I didn't hear John Jones. I didn't hear a lot of people saying any goddamn thing. Okay? The only person that said something was Tyron Woodley. You know, he wore the Black Lives Matter set for his weigh-ins and his fights and his press conferences or whatever when he fought Kobe Covington. He fought Kobe Covington, who loves Trump, and we all know what that's wrapped up in terms of racial politics. Yeah, he lost, but he made a statement, right? But that was it. Then they put Tyron on an island. Tyron's he's a race baiter. All he thinks about is stoking up the embers of racial, hostility in the country and all this, and then they abandoned him, and then after that he left, and then he went to go fight Jake Paul, which was a good move, by the way. He made more goddamn money that way. But at the same time, nobody in MMA stepped up to the plate. So, Israel did. Now, this is why this is even more alarming, Israel. Because you stepped up to the plate at your hometown about police brutality and racial dysfunctions and all that kind of stuff, and then you fuck around and defend Joe Rogan? For what? Joe Rogan was not the color commentator for this last weekend's event. Now, many people speculated, was this because of Joe's usage of the N-word? For those who don't know, Spotify didn't defend Joe, but they didn't censor Joe. Joe Rogan has had many, many, many hot takes that many people find extremely controversial. Joe Rogan does not believe in the vaccine. Joe Rogan believes in other natural forms of healing to deal with COVID-19 and its variants. He actually got COVID-19 and used his methodology, and according to him, he doesn't have it anymore. Inclusive of Dana White, the UFC president, who caught COVID-19 and also used Joe Rogan's methodology and quote-unquote defeated COVID-19 as well. Because of this, artists like India Arie and many others took their music off Spotify because they felt that with him being the top of the top in Spotify's podcast, if you don't like his takes, and you don't want to censor him, then we don't want our music being listened to Spotify listeners. This was their take. This is India Arie, the R&B singer, and a couple of other singers that felt like that. I think Phil Collins was one. A bunch of people. They felt like this. But for India Arie, the N-word situation was a little too much to bear. And I think that part is what really made her take all her music off Spotify. Because she reposted on social media Joe Rogan's video, or the video made of the compilation of Joe Rogan saying the N-word profusely yet again. I say this to say the following. Spotify, which has their exclusive licensing deal with Rogan, Ben knew that Rogan said the N-word for a long time. He's been saying it for years. That compilation is like a hodgepodge of years of usage. We also know that Joe Rogan at one point disrespected Colin Kaepernick, who he calls Rosa Parks. Like Rosa Parks? Yeah. Rosa Parks. Yeah, it wasn't funny. But he said that because he didn't like Colin Kaepernick's Black and White documentary on Netflix. Why, I don't know. Mainly because in the opening salvo of this show, Kaepernick compared the NFL combine system to a slave auction. Now, for those in the dark about what a slave auction was, they literally measured black men and women for their virility, their strength, masculinity, femininity, all kind of ways that they could be used as human chattel in a forced labor camp to build America. Literally, that's what happened. When you look at the NFL combine does the same thing. Run, judge. Jump, judged. Whatever you do, you're getting judged on how fast you can catch the goddamn ball and spin back around and all of that. Throw the ball, whatever. So it's the same thing, right? It's a skills and acuity test to see if you're going to make the cut for our league, for our team. Same thing with slave auction, minus the nefarious connotations. But Kaepernick felt that the overarching alignment was too real and too blaring to be dismissed. So he compared slave auctioning to having an NFL combine. That's his opinion. Joe Rogan felt like that was Kaepernick looking like Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks, for those who didn't catch it. So I'm saying this to say the following. Joe Rogan has controversial hot takes all day. This is not the first time, but he's been disrespectful in actually using these words while giving his hot takes. All right? Israel Adesanya. Let me be the first to tell you right now, we didn't need your opinion on this. I know you were asked by the media, but this was absolutely a no comment time, my brother. This was absolutely a, I plead the fifth time, my brother. You know why? Because at the end of the day, Israel, you ain't from here. You don't even know what the hell's going on. You never lived here. You don't know what's happening. Your ancestors ain't from here. All right. You probably know what tribe you from and everything. You might be Igbo, one of these dope-ass tribes. You probably done ate fufu and peanut butter stew your whole goddamn life. I had to eat it because I had the homies down the block that lived in my building and they was Nigerian. They put me on to what's going on over there. But I don't really know. I'm eating the food from the diasporic people, right? Collard greens, macs and cheeses, okay? Things that they didn't do in Africa. Why? Because I'm from the American experience of blackness, brother. This is what came to me and my people. And yes, we're aligning. We are aligning, you know, through Pan-Africanism. Shout out to Dr. Umar, his crazy ass. But at the end of the day, you don't know what's going on over here. You don't know Wagwan, baby. So step the fuck out this conversation, Israel Adesanya. You are the last style bender, but your style was hella whack this time, brother. I ain't gonna lie to you. And not really the right way to walk into your defense of your title. Like, we could have focused more on you being the UFC middleweight champion and beating Robert Whittaker for the second time, more than focusing on you being an apologist for Joe Rogan. Like, Joe Rogan does not need Israel Adesanya's cosign. Joe Rogan does not need Israel Adesanya's apology. Joe Rogan's digging graves by his goddamn self, Israel. And then you put a second body in there, your own goddamn body. It's on some Soprano shit. It's fucking weird. What are you doing, Israel? Just be the champ. All we wanted from you was some fucking foot kicks, some elbows, some fucking punches. You wanted to run your mouth about some shit that ain't had nothing to do with you. I don't even know what y'all eat in New Zealand. Israel, if you come to New York, you're gonna be like, let me get a slice of pizza. If you go to LA, you probably asking for some Mexican food. We don't know how the hell y'all get down in Auckland, New Zealand. And we ain't trying to even go over there for real, my brother. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sorry, no disrespect. Respectfully. So you talking about my town, my country, my experience, my people's experience. No. In that sense, you're New Zealand black. You don't know about this. The man called Colin Kaepernick throws the parks. The man said the N-word profusely. The man is crazy. All right. Look, Joe Rogan's on a whole island. He's doing him. He's half a Trumper. All right. And so is Dana. Dana White's a whole Trumper. Rogan's like a half a Trumper. You understand? So this comes with some consequences and principalities, B. There's a lot going on with this, Israel. I don't think you understand. And in the course of being cute for the public, you put your whole foot in your fucking mouth, man. It's almost like you try to kick somebody else in the face and you kicked your own goddamn head. Fuck is wrong with you? We ain't need that. So I'm gonna come for you right now, Israel, because you were very disrespectful. And I say that with love. Because it is Valentine's Day week, baby. So we want to see you redeemed, Israel. I always say this about myself because, you know, I've done some whack shit in the past. Everybody's redeemable. I'm redeemable. You're redeemable. But you got to start asking questions, Israel. You might have wanted to call a tyrant first. You know, somebody that's down with the culture for real. Somebody that's not afraid to wear a Black Lives Matter hat and shirt on a UFC fucking broadcast. It sounds like you was chopping it up with Dana White. Or your newfound friend, Conor McGregor, who showed you love on Twitter. Oh, thank you, Conor. Thank you. Come on, man. All this love fest shit. And then you giving it to Joe Rogan. You're supposed to hold that man accountable, Israel. Or ask a black guy. From America. We would have told you it was wrong. It was hella disrespectful for Joe Rogan. And now, Israel, you've been disrespectful too. So now I got a pretty left hook Israel Adesanya's ass. For not talking to the community in America. Israel, there's a lot of black people on this big ass earth. The ones that live in America, ask us our opinion before you start talking shit about the white people that we are neighbors with. You understand what I'm saying? Because what happens in Auckland, New Zealand, and your takes in Auckland ain't our takes here, my guy. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I gotta take one of them stripes off your arm, bro. Like, you got your athletic stripes all day. We ain't mad at you. You know how to fuck people up. All right, you got that. When it comes to this social consciousness shit, political shit, you fucked up. I was feeling you during the protest movement. You did a whole protest and situations in the street of Auckland, New Zealand, but goddamn it, you was in America. And by George, you was in Houston, a black-ass city. You could have pulled up on fucking Jay Prince. You could have called Scarface. You with the fucking UFC. All right, they got everybody's numbers, man. They got Jay Prince's number. They got Bun B's number. Okay, Trade the Truth is down there. There's a lot of people down there, man. You didn't call nobody. But you did give your opinion. You're calling people cunts and snakes. You're saying you're black. Then you're defending usage of the N-word. You're fucking up. So look, Israel Adesanya gets our first disrespectful of the day. He's highly disrespectful. And you had to get called out today. Because we ain't going for the bullshit. All right? Take that shit, put it in your suitcase. When you fly back across these oceans to Auckland, New Zealand, educate everybody, tell them what Pritty Left Hook said about your ass. You fucking up. And at the end of the day, Israel, you ain't acting like our nigga, man. Real talk, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? Get back to fighting. Stop playing games. And before you open your fucking mouth about some shit going on over here with racial shit, ask a black person. We'll put you together. Call me up on Game Network. Hit up LeVar Arrington. Hit up whoever the hell you got to hit up over here. And we will make sure you straight. But you know what? I got something coming for that ass. Pause. Because advocacy is what MMA is missing. I'm on a new whole campaign about advocacy in the mixed martial arts business. Because what I think is that the fan base got your minds fucked up. Do I have to pull out Daniel Cormier doing the chicken dance at the fucking MMA awards where he's talking about how much he loves fucking Popeyes? What the fuck? There's a lot of fraudulent shit going on with y'all, man. I'm the one that's going to keep it a stack with y'all because I love you. You see I'm wearing the love shirt? I love you. But I got to chin check y'all asses, man, because y'all know I can't really beat y'all in real life, so my mouth is going to do the fucking talking, man. Fuck. I'm fucking up. Advocacy coming. I got some surprises in store. You heard it first here. Moving on down the line, another person has been very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. But I got to give him props for the disrespect, and that's none other, my man, your man, Jake Paul. Woo-hoo! Yo, wrestling music had to come back because Jake Paul came into the game so crazy. And he's been talking crazy. And he's been touching chins crazy. And now he's coming for Dana White's whole bald ass head yet again. Shout out to the bald men in the game. We out here. Okay, nobody was feeling me on. That's all right, though. So, Jake Paul gets wind of everything I just said about Israel Adesanya. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, Jake Paul has no melanin in his system. He is an official white man. But he had something to say about this whole situation. Joe Rogan, again, was not part of the color commentary team for UFC 271, where Israel Adesanya unanimously decisioned Robert Whittaker at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. But what Jake Paul did say is that, you know what? Even though y'all are saying Rogan had a scheduling conflict, which is why he couldn't be the color commentator, Paul believes that the UFC broadcast partner Disney and ESPN, which they're in bed together, they're married, decided to remove Rogan because of his multiple controversies. Now, I'm going to tell you what Jake Paul said exactly because he tweeted it because, you know, Jake Paul's Twitter fingers work heavy. It's like a fucking machine gun. Jake Paul. So ESPN and Disney pulled Joe Rogan from the UFC broadcast, but stand behind Dana White, who calls reporters douchebags. Ooh, hold on. Yo, Jake be going in on fools, B. I ain't going to lie to you. Let me run this back real quick. Maybe you was a little slow. So ESPN and Disney pulled Joe Rogan from the UFC broadcast, but stand behind Dana White, who calls reporters douchebags, says a female fighter looks like a male fighter in a dress and heels, and claims brain damage is part of the gig. You pulled the wrong guy, Mr. Chapek. I got to break all this down for you. You're probably like, who the fuck is Mr. Chapek? What's this? What's that? Mr. Chapek, I believe, either runs Disney or he runs ESPN. One of them shits. Y'all look it up for me. I don't got time for that right now. And they ain't giving me no money, and I don't have no stock from them in my portfolio, so fuck them right now. But what I'm saying to you is this. Jake Paul be on point sometimes, no bullshit. Jake Paul said, Y'all pulled the wrong guy. So he's basically coming yet again for Dana White's whole career. If y'all don't understand this, Jake Paul is officially on Dana White cancel watch. He's trying to cancel Dana White all day. So Dana White is the UFC president. It's looking like he's president for life because after the UFC sold to Endeavor, which formerly was William Morris, Dana White inserted himself as president still. Even though the game has evolved, big TV deals, UFC Plus, even though that shit is weak, no disrespect, respectfully. But at the same time, it's weird watching fights on the app. I ain't gonna lie to you. But then, he's saying, yo, y'all pulled Joe Rogan, but not Dana White? He's calling bullshit. He's saying, oh, the hypocrisy. 100%. Because what he's saying is, you would allow a guy to be the president of the biggest mixed martial arts organization on the planet to disrespect the media that helps feed the beast for pay-per-view. He called Chris Cyborg, the female, she's like baby Mike Tyson. He called her, she looks like a dog in a dress and heels or something to that effect. He brought that back out the bag, and he did, Dana White. And then, when we talked about CTE and all the fighters who leave the UFC after years and years of getting their head touched, and they doing bad financially or they doing bad physically, and he's not helping them, he says it's part of the game, similar to the NFL, low-key. Jake Paul saying Dana White is hella fraudulent for all this activity, all this word, all this verbal, all this non-caring, I'm the fight master energy. Jake Paul ain't with it. And Jake Paul's saying that's on the same level as Joe Rogan saying the N-word mad times on the Joe Rogan Experience. I'm feeling Jake Paul for this. You know why? Because he took so many issues with Dana White and he compiled them into, why is there so much fervor? Or only fervor, let me say that. Why is there only so much fervor for Joe Rogan, who's wrong, when there's not enough fervor for Dana White, who's wronger? I think that's a fail. He's saying on the respect of the corporations that fuel the UFC right now, which is Disney and ESPN. But I think he's also talking about us, the public, the fans. Jake Paul is laughing at you right now. He's saying, you know something? Y'all don't even know who y'all talking about. You're talking about the wrong guys. We're talking about both of these guys. You're supposed to be talking about both of these guys. Why? Because there's been a pattern of disrespectfulness happening with the UFC for a long time. Don't get me started. Okay? First of all, Dana White in the very beginnings was like, women will never fight in the UFC. This is after Gina Carano did her thing with Strikeforce. This is after Cyborg became the illest female fighter on the planet before Amanda Nunes did it in the UFC. But it took Ronda Rousey, my homie, by the way, shout out to Ronda. It took Ronda Rousey to be breaking girls' arms all around the country with this arm bar she perfected. To then for him to be like, oh, wow, I got a great white hope in Ronda. All right. And then he said, you know what? She gonna make the UFC some money. God damn it, I was wrong. Women can be in the UFC. But here's where you was wrong first, Dana White. You disrespected femininity and their masculinity, bruh. Meaning their athleticism. Pardon me. Take that back. You disrespected femininity and their athleticism. Right? Because we never look at female athletes the way we look at male athletes. That's why I said masculinity. Right? Because athleticism isn't masculine or feminine. It's just human, goddammit. Make some fucking noise for that. That's a beautiful landscape to be in, right? Where everybody just gets that shit and we all act like we're on an even fucking playing field. But Dana White didn't. And they had to bust their ass to prove to Dana White that they could be in the game. And if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey, it wouldn't even be no women in the game of MMA on that level. Now look at it. Multiple pay-per-view blockbusters later. Amanda Nunes became the GOAT. Holly Holmes transitioned the best from boxing to MMA of any woman that was a boxing champion before. Now you can't stop Dana White from booking females. Not only in fights, but as the main fucking event. So he got you right there, Dana. And you disrespected Cyborg by calling her a dog in a dress or whatever the hell you say. You crazy for that. And she'll whoop your ass. So stop playing games, dog. Real rap. But more than that, you disrespect the media constantly. I'm part of the media. You ain't never came for me. Yeah, don't do that. Bad idea. And more than that, CTE is an issue. Brain damage is an issue. and you're not doing shit to give back. Where's the fund? Where's the bread? You know how many people, wives is out here dealing with this, people, children? There's no slush fund for these people after they do what they do to make you $1 billion valuation company, $4 billion, whatever the hell y'all worth. Jake Paul's on a mission for corrective measures in the mixed martial arts business. And this man's not even a goddamn mixed martial arts fighter. I mean, it's crazy. I'm going to keep playing this type of music with Jake Paul because it's coming out the game like a goddamn wrestling heel. But he's making good points, bro. And Dana White, you got to get chin check for this one too. And ESPN and Disney, y'all need to start correcting him. Because I'm going to tell you what the overarching narrative is from corporate and why this stuff gets unchecked on Dana White's behalf, right? There's still a belief that the major only supporters of MMA are white men. Because of that belief, the UFC is going to do whatever it needs to do to keep that base feeling like this still feels familiar to that base. But what they don't understand is that black, white, Asian, Latino, we all like MMA. We all like seeing people get their ass whooped. Once The Ultimate Fighter came out and we got educated on the training, the amount of coaches you need, the amount of martial arts disciplines you need to know, we all were like, oh, this is some real life Street Fighter shit. This is some real life Gladiator shit. We like it. There's no racial boundaries with this in terms of the fan base. Everybody likes watching somebody get their ass whooped. And once we understood MMA and the purpose of the octagon and all of that stuff, we like it too. So, the fan base is everybody now. LGBTQ, black, white, whatever, Latino, everybody's in the game. So you can't be partial to Dana White's personal opinions and proclivities when it comes to people. He's talking to his homies and his people. But the world is a big-ass place, and we all like the fucking fights. Jake Paul is brave enough, and he got enough independent money to not care about hurting Dana White's fucking feelings. The problem is, because there's no advocacy in the mixed martial arts business, MMA fighters will never say this to Dana White. And that's why I love Jake Paul. Because he's willing to say, you know what, Dana? Come for me, bro. Because I'm coming for you. Because you walking around here like you got it all figured out, but you don't, and you being hella disrespectful. This is why this is the disrespectful show today. So Jake Paul brought his disrespect to nullify and or match Dana White's disrespect, which makes it what? A love fest. Because as I said earlier, hate is the new love. And Jake Paul's trying to get you all the reasons to hate on Dana White. Dana White's already given you a million reasons to hate on Jake Paul. He's not a real boxer. He's a YouTuber pretending. His thing's only going to last for about another 15 minutes and all of that. So Jake Paul's coming back for that ass in these ways. You understand what I'm saying? But I got to give Jake Paul some props for this, because not a lot of people are willing to step up against a beast in the MMA game and in the fight game like Dana White without fear of retribution and reprisal and you know what I'm saying, things coming back and messing you up. But Jake Paul doesn't give a shit at all. He's going to keep on pushing. He got Amanda Serrano. He's advocating women fighters. Shit, Cyborg, I think, co-signed what he said to Dana White because she still feels disrespected by that comment. This is a disrespectful episode, y'all. We're talking about disrespect. And Jake Paul is at the top of the list, being very disrespectful to nullify and or match the energy he receives. Thank you, Jake Paul. I appreciate you for this, buddy. We needed it. And more than anything, you're the only one with enough balls to do it. So thank you for your disrespectful ass. Can't wait to see you knock another Bama the fuck out. Because you're doing a good job at that too, boy. Somebody else has been disrespectful now. And we're going to cross the aisle back into boxing, right? We kind of went there with Jake Paul because he's a boxer. Allegedly. Now we go into my man, recent retiree, official old head now, Showtime Shawn Porter. My guy. For those of y'all who don't know, Shawn Porter's my boy. I love Shawn. His daddy, Kenny Porter, his trainer's my man, my OG. These guys called me one day a while back, this is a side note, and said, Rhett, we want you to spar with Shawn Porter in Gleason's gym in Brooklyn. Historic gym, by the way. Similar to the Doghouse in Vegas in Mayweather's gym, where everybody's watching you, and if you come up short, they're going to play you. I got played. Yeah, I came up short. Shawn Porter whooped my motherfucking ass. It's all good. That's my guy. I was in there. Me, Charlemagne the God, Nestor Gibbs, and my man Barack Best. We all went 2 rounds with Shawn Porter, and we all got fucking blasted, all right? In fact, right here, I still got a little situation because Shawn breadbasketed me and shit was real. You understand me? Yeah, that's how I was looking. Straight birds around my head. But I'm saying this to say that's my man. So whatever I'm going to say right now about him being disrespectful, just understand it comes from love. Because that's my fucking guy, all right? So I can talk shit about him. You understand? And we did karaoke in fucking Las Vegas at a goddamn Hawaiian restaurant. It's the most random story of all time with fucking Hawaiian sweet rolls all around. We was eating poi poi. You understand? And singing, "Can you stand the rain?" We was on New Edition, heavy pause. That's my guy. I'm trying to tell you, that's my fucking man. All right, enough backstory shit. So Shawn Porter disrespected. Oh my God, he disrespected the new kid on the block. Now you understand why I said New Edition, new kids on the block. You're starting to see where I go with all this shit. I got fucking plans for you, bitch. He disrespected Jaron Boots Ennis, bro. Jaron Boots Ennis. We gotta talk about this. So, Shawn Porter, on his podcast, The Porter Way. Shout out to the podcast. They're doing big things over there. Shawn Porter had a lot to say about the new fast-rising welterweight, Jaron Boots Ennis. Flat out, he called him an overrated fighter. Woo! He called him an overrated fighter. I'm going to read you exactly what Shawn said. Boots is overrated. Boots is overrated, and this is why I say he's overrated. Everybody is so hyped up on him, but he hasn't been in the ring with any world champion yet. And don't forget, I'm the one, this is Shawn saying this, and don't forget, I'm the one that said, well, one of the ones that said, this dude is the closest thing we got to Roy Jones. Hell of a compliment, by the way. I've said that. I'm on record. I believe that. But at the same time, every name you throw out, Boots will smash him. Boots will smash him. Damn, like, let the fight happen and say, Boots smashed him. Or, man, that was a great fight. Boots did well. But don't blatantly, Boots will smash everybody in the 147-pound division. I believe Boots is overrated in everybody's mind because the way everybody talks about Boots. Everybody talks about Boots as if he's going to smash everybody that he gets in the ring with, not giving anybody a chance. Terrence Crawford don't want to see Boots. Errol Spence Jr. don't want to see Boots. Ugas don't want to see Boots. Shawn Porter had a lot to goddamn say about Boots, bro. Yo. Boots. Yo, Boots is in Philly somewhere chilling. He's probably running up the Rocky Steps. You know what I mean? He's doing him. He's from Philly, by the way. But guess what? And Boots is the young boy right now in the 147 division. But Boots hurt him. Now, y'all know Boots hurt him. Shawn Porter is a fucking champion, former champion. This man has been around for a long time. He just retired. Shawn Porter also is a color commentator for Fox Sports and PBC. So, Boots heard Shawn Porter, and of course, his Twitter fingers went to fucking work. All right, he wiped the cheesesteak grease off. He put down the fucking Amoroso roll. And he had a lot to say. And what did Boots say? He said this. I heard you at Showtime P. You said I was overrated. You was just saying I'm ready and too much for these guys. LOL. And you said you won't fight me. But keep that same energy, though. If I'm so overrated, come out of retirement and fight me. Now people retire and I'm overrated. And then he put like 2 exclamation points after that. You know what I mean? Boots heard Shawn Porter. Now here's the thing, right? We got to break this down a couple ways. And you know, like I said, hate is the new love. And as I'm wearing my love shirt today, courtesy of On Us Tees, it's Love Day. It's fucking Valentine's Day weekend. So I'm giving y'all all the love through the hate. First of all, you can't be mad at Shawn Porter for what he's saying. Why? Shawn Porter is the fucking man. He's fucked up everybody, right? He beat Adrian Broner's ass, okay? He's done his thing against the top of the top. He beat Danny Garcia. He sent Danny Garcia to another division. Pretty much. I mean, it's not announced, but Danny's out of it. Danny's probably out of here. Okay? He's held his own with everybody. Yeah, he lost to Keith Thurman. Yeah, he lost to Errol Spence, but Shawn always shows up. Yeah, he lost to Terrence Crawford. But Shawn always shows up to fight. Not only does Shawn show up to fight, Shawn is a fucking dog. Shawn getting up in your chest. Shawn's going to beat the body down. Pause. Shawn is going to give you a hard fucking time. Everybody knows what it is, Shawn Porter. He's a fucking dog. He's the definition of a dog in boxing. Relentless. When Shawn Porter speaks, he now has an elder statesman vibe. He can talk. You know, he's on the same level that for me is like a Tim Bradley. People like this, right? They've been in there. They've been in wars. They got their head hit and kept on fighting. So when Shawn Porter says something, you got to listen to him. But let's break down what Shawn said, because he was being disrespectful, but he tempered it with some, you know, some little caveats, right? Shawn Porter thinks Boots is overrated because he hasn't been in the ring with any world champions yet. And that's fucking true. Okay? Boots Ennis is here. He's doing his thing, but he hasn't fought any world champions. He doesn't have a fucking big-ass belt yet, a world belt. He's on the come-up. Now, we know that the welterweight division is starting to get a lot smaller, right? Shawn Porter retired, or according to Boots, retired. Danny Garcia's looking like he's going to go up to 154. Keith Thurman's back. Ugas is here with a belt. Errol Spence is here with some belts. And Terrence Crawford is here with a belt. So the three guys that got the belts, they looking at fighting each other so they can be one champion. We want to get an undisputed welterweight champion. But outside of that, the only other people making noise in this division is Jaron, Boots, Ennis. Everybody's looking at him as the future. I think Roy Jones is a very good comparison, actually. And that's a Shawn Porter comparison. So let's be clear. Shawn Porter's disrespect came with some caveats and some nuance. Because he's giving the kid a lot of love as with the disrespect. But the disrespect was there. And it was definitely loud and clear. All right? And I know Shawn Porter's big on clarity. Everybody's talking about Boots as if he's going to smash everybody he gets in the ring with. And they're not giving anybody else a chance yet. You got to actually give Shawn respect on that statement. Because at the end of the day, y'all are speculating about some shit that ain't even happened yet because the kid looks good. That includes Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather said, y'all better watch Boots. He's nice. He said that at the Gervonta Davis versus Isaac Cruz fight. And he's right. Well, you know what happens in boxing is when guys are dope, everybody gets hella excited. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we have to let the guys actually have the fights before we start crowning them as the next messiah for a division or even for the fucking game. When Canelo Alvarez fought Mayweather, everybody walked in and said, oh, Mayweather's about to probably get smashed. Oh, Mayweather really don't pick guys that are younger because he likes to cherry pick his fights. He might have fucked up this time. Oh, and then Mayweather gave Canelo a fucking boxing clinic. I mean, I was there. I fucking walked. Look at the goddamn broadcast. My big ass bald head is in the fucking ring. And then I sat right behind all of them fools that did the commentary that day. Shout out to Mauro Ranallo, Al Bernstein, and then Paulie Malignaggi was still with Showtime then. I was fucking there. Okay? For the Millie, Lil Wayne Walk, I was there for the whole shit. And Mayweather was like a goddamn ballerina dancing all over Canelo's yellow young ass. But what did Mayweather say after he defeated Canelo Alvarez? By majority decision, I believe, or split decision. That was a bullshit ass fucking call because it should have been unanimous, whatever. Floyd said Canelo is going to be a hell of a champion one day. He's going to be the top of the sport. And I think he even said something to the effect of, I think he's going to be the next me in the sport in the sense of like success, right? Not anything else, because now Mayweather gave him a L. So he can never be Mayweather because Mayweather has no L's. No L's taken. But Mayweather gave Canelo props after he beat his ass. I'm saying that to say the following. If you look at what Shawn Porter's saying in context, he's really just being the big homie. He's saying, Boots, you fucking nice. You might be the next coming of Roy Jones Jr. But you not so nice that we can start comparing you or saying that you're going to beat everybody in the game. We still got your Dennis Ugas. We still got Keith Thurman. We still got Terrence Crawford. We still got Errol fucking Spence. Is Boots ready for these people? We will say this. I think the best fight for Boots will be Keith Thurman right now. If Keith Thurman's willing to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because if Boots beats Keith Thurman, and Boots has never had a belt, that says a lot about Keith Thurman and where the game is going, right? But for Boots, it's the ultimate test. Can Boots get your Dennis Ugas right now? Fuck no. I mean, your Dennis is about to fight Errol Spence. So that's not going to happen because they on belt time. Terrence Crawford got a belt. He'd be better off fighting Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? As an in-between situation. You know what I mean? Probably. Just because Keith used to have a belt, and that's a good look for Terrence. Because Terrence beating Shawn Porter showed people a different level of Terrence. And if Terrence fought Keith Thurman and beat him, he would immediately be solidified and looked at as the only guy that could possibly beat Errol Spence if Errol gets past Yordenis Ugas. But Jaron Boots Ennis needs a chance to prove himself. You can't prove yourself, to Shawn Porter's point, until you fight the best, which is why I think Jaron Boots Ennis should fight Keith Thurman next to really make a statement. Plus, for Keith, between Ugas, Spence, Crawford, I would rather see Keith among those three and let Boots, you know what I mean? Yeah, whatever. So you understand what I'm just saying? Boots needs a shot, needs a chance. But Shawn Porter being disrespectful was actually little respectful. You know what I'm saying? But we'll say this, though, about Jaron Boots Ennis. He knows how to bring disrespect to disrespect as well. Because when Jaron said, I heard you said I'm overrated. You heard I said I'm too much for these guys. Well, why don't you fight me then, bro? Not a bad proposition by Jaron Boots Ennis. Let's give that man a round of applause, dog. I ain't gonna lie. Like, the young dude got a point with this. Shawn, we know you didn't want to retire. You was fighting your ass off against Terrence. It's just Terrence was slicker than you. It is what it is. Terrence downloads information. And when he downloads the information, then he starts to rock out and decide how he's going to pick you apart. And that's what he did to Shawn Porter. But I feel like Shawn got so much left in him. Shawn's exact words were, I don't want to be a gatekeeper. Now, you might look at a Shawn Porter Boots Ennis fight as a gatekeeper situation, right? If Boots fights Shawn, he can get an immediate title shot because Shawn's last fight was for a title shot. So that is defining of a gatekeeper, low-key. But when you open your mouth about another fighter, Shawn, you got to understand that comes with some consequences and principalities, B. So you might want to fight Boots now just to be like, look, I'm a world champion. See if you really got it like that. And call it practice. You already retired. Get the bag. If you could school Boots. Show people you still got it. Go back to the golf club after that. Or, fuck, stay in the game. We never seen you against a couple other guys. You might, you never know, right? What I'm saying is the disrespect might have just birthed a potential fight. And boxing needs fights like Shawn Porter, Jaron Boots Ennis. And Jaron Boots Ennis needs tests like Shawn Porter. So, I say I'll say the following. For me, this disrespect was all love. Why? Because Shawn Porter put out a statement, Jaron Boots Ennis gave out a rebuttal, and now a fight matchup could potentially be in the works if Shawn's down for it. So, to that end, good job, folks. I love what you just did with that, Shawn, and I really love what you did with that, Boots. I see you, baby. You ain't scared of shit. Resume cheesesteak eating. You heard me? Pause. No meat eating. You pause. Yeah, you guys, they pause a few times with that. Pause, motherfucker. I love the game of boxing. I love the game of MMA. The shit is fucking hella disrespectful this week. There's a lot more shit coming down the pipe because you know fight hype is nothing but disrespect. But my name is Pritty, and it's all fucking love. Shout out to my man Gio and Ricardo holding me down behind the scenes. Up on Game Network Presents is what the fuck we on. LeVar Arrington is the big homie, and my name is Rhett Butler, and this is the Pretty fucking left hook, and we just hit you in your goddamn liver. I'm done. Peace.